is a passionate teacher from Long Island. She has been inspiring students at her school to stay creative and continue making through scrapbooking. She is helped recently facilitate a donation from Michael's for hundreds of scrapbook materials to be donated to her students so that they could help them finish off their year-end project and have them reflect on all the memorable moments that happened throughout the school year, but also of their life. It's an autobiography project. So that is what Mary Claire is going to be helping us craft today, and in terms of writing it and putting it together, and some of her favorite tips on doing that. She is one of the people we've recognized, Michaels has recognized as a hero difference maker. So over the past month of May, Michaels noticed that people were using their creativity for good and giving back to the community, whether they're making masks or spreading messages of hope to their community. We wanted to recognize these people. So we chose 15 Americans and profiled them on the Michaels website and social media pages, and just really aimed to inspire people to use their creativity for good in their communities. And Mary Claire was one of those people. So if you know someone, today's the last day, you can sign on to michaels.com/difference makers and nominate someone that you know that's making a difference in the community, where you can go on social media, post with #difference makers and tag Michaels stores. So I think one exciting thing that we can all feel good about today is that for every participant in the class right now, we're donating $1 to the Boys and Girls Club of America for their COVID-19 relief fund. So just another exciting reason that we can all get excited about making today. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Mary Claire. And I know we think there's no better time than now to capture your most precious memories. So she's going to help you discover your autobiography, how to channel and write some of those best memories down, and then offer some of her tips to actually put the scrapbook together. So take it away, Mary Claire.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Angeline. And I'd first like to say that if anybody has any questions as you're going along, please feel free to write your questions in the comment area, and Angeline will be fielding those questions, and we will have a point in time where you can get your questions answered. In addition to that, I'd like everybody to make sure that they have something to write on, or use a Google Doc or something like that to take some notes, as you will see in the presentation.
And one thing before you jump in, Mary Claire, I also wanted to quickly just go over the supply list, as I think that could be important for everyone to know. So ideally, if you do have a scrapbook paper to start with today, that'd be great. If not, just ensuring you have paper to write some stuff down on so that you can go back to your project later, because we will be writing down some words and some memories. Colored paper is a great idea. Scissors, glue or glue sticks, Scotch tape, scrapbooking tape, construction paper, markers and crayons, colored pencils, and of course stickers and decorations of all kinds. You can really get creative and show your individuality here. Mary Claire will even show some examples of that stuff too.
Great, well, let's get started then. Treasuring your autobiography time capsule. This is about capturing your favorite memories in a scrapbook. My students for years have been creating autobiographies, and they do that through a month-by-month process. So each month they write one chapter about their life, and by the end of the year they end up with 10 chapters. And we spend the last week of school editing, creating, and publishing their scrapbooks.
Mary Claire, I'm going to get you to share your screen as well, so you can show us the presentation that you have.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was.
So if you click the bottom share screen there.
I apologize.
Put together some awesome tips.
Okay, we'll start from the beginning.
There we go.
Sorry.
All good.
Okay. So there we have it. I'll take it back because you didn't see it before. Okay. So, I'm sorry about that. Okay. How do I take off that part up on the top? Will it stay there for everyone to see?
Yeah, but I think that's fine.
That's okay?
Yep,
okay.
We're all good.
All right, great. So we are going to be, I'm going to be showing you how to create an autobiography and how to put it in some kind of a time capsule and capturing your favorite memories, but in a scrapbook. My students every year, they write their scrapbook and they do their month by month, and every month throughout the school year from September till June, they write one chapter about their life. And by the end of the year, they have 10 chapters. And we spend the last week of school editing, creating, and publishing their scrapbooks. So at this time, I need everybody to take out some kind of scrap paper because you will need to take some notes. This is a writing class and a scrapbook class all in one. What you're going to be learning today is how to take 25 simple words and make it your chapter. Surprise! It's really amazing what happens. So here we have the topics that my students focus on throughout the school year. They focus on family, friendship, most memorable moments, hobbies, pets, vacations, dreams, short and long-term goals, music and entertainment, how I would change the world, my greatest inspiration, and then the last one is their choice. Now, over the years, I've done this so many times. I used to give the students choices as to what topics they wanted to work on. It turned out after like 5 years of doing this, they all ended up being the same topics. So I just set these in stone, and these are the topics that my students focus on. And there's a lot of wiggle room. So they can do it any way they want pretty much, as long as they stick within these topics. For today's class, you will see that you can make these topics any topic you want. For example, for a choice, a lot of my students have decided that they want to write about COVID-19 and how it's been for them during the pandemic. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think about what your topic is going to be about. You can follow the example that I'm going to be sharing with you, or you can use any topic, any genre that you would like. Dream big. What memories do you want to preserve? Are you a grandmother and born in the 1900s like myself? Or would you like to write about the 80s, the 70s, the 60s? Or would you like to write about the year of the 2000s or 2020? This format of writing an essay works. Can we get that top somehow moved away?
I think if you click it on your screen, you could potentially drag it away.
Okay.
I don't see anything though. It looks good to me.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Great. Great, okay. Good. So this format makes essay writing easy. It's called the touchdown method of writing. And what it boils down to is that my students have to stay within this format. And the format is a chapter equals 5 paragraphs, and a paragraph equals 5 sentences. And they need to follow this format in order to be successful. And they find that this format does help them. So what you're going to be doing today is an activity. I'd like you to all take a piece of paper, and I'd like you to create a chart like you see here. You will not necessarily put in the names mom, dad, and sister. Those are my examples. What I'd like you to do is create 3 columns and 6 rows. Please do that now.
Perfect. And then I think, Mary Claire, do you want to go back a couple of slides and show that list of topics again? I think there are some people asking about that, and it could inspire them in this activity right now.
Okay.
Perfect. So here's some topics that you can be considering to write about. So, and then they want to put that, like you said, in a table that has 3 columns, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 different columns with 6 rows.
So you're just start for today's activity. I want everyone to stick with family. for the activity.
Perfect.
So if everybody will just stay on family and pick 3 people from their family that they would like to write about.
Perfect.
And put their name in the top of each column. So if it's husband, son, daughter, or if it's grandmother, father, brother, it doesn't matter. Whoever you would like to write about. Now let's stick with column 1. Now that everybody has created their 3-column, 6-row chart, and you have put your name, the names of the people you would like at the top of each of the columns, now you can start with column 1. Column 1, I'm going to use my mom as an example. So I put mom, and then you think of a wow word to represent your mother, a detailed word, another detailed word, another detailed word, and another wow word at the end. So everybody take them a moment, please. I'll give you a minute.
Perfect.
And write down 5 words about your first person.
And what are some examples of words you like to write down or you've seen in the past, Mary Claire?
So I've got this sheet right here. This is just an example, and it's also in this presentation. This sheet is just something I pulled off of Google Images, and basically it's a positive personality adjectives list. And it gives me 100 words from A to Z, from active, ambitious, brave, loving, sensitive, shy, tough, powerful. Lots of different words for you to choose from. Sometimes I suggest my students take these lists and use them to help them get started. Because usually the biggest problem with my students writing, is that they don't know where to start. So we start from the inside out. The touchdown method of writing is a writing method that I developed years ago. And it started out where the kids found this to be the easiest way to get started. So we start from the inside out. These are the 3 body paragraphs. And then we do our introduction and our conclusion last. We save the best for last.
I love it. People are asking to see that list, Mary Claire, so I might.
I will put that list, the list of words?
Yes.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna get you to stop sharing the screen for a moment.
The beauty of this activity is that you write down let's say you write down for your mom, she's beautiful. You're not going to say beautiful about your sister, even if your sister is beautiful. You might use the word pretty. You never want to use the same word twice. So you want your words to be simple words. You can embellish upon them later. This is where I use tiering as a form of a strategy for teaching kids at all different levels. So many students might just start with very simple words, nice, kind, sweet, loving, or cook, meaning my mom's a great cook, that kind of thing. Any kind of a descriptive word. Do your column for dad, do your column for sister, and when you're done, you will have 15 words. And you're 1/10 of the way done your scrapbook.
Perfect.
I can answer a lot of questions afterwards, but if you can at least get these 15 words down on a piece of paper, it's actually the format that you need to understand. It's basic, it's extremely basic, but once you have the words down, you can change them and build upon them and make them, you can look for synonyms later, but for now, just put down the basic words that you're looking for.
Perfect. So
Okay.
describe your mom. It could be powerful, inspirational, happy, fun, adventurous, anything like that. Everyone's
Right.
mom is very different and has all these cool traits, or maybe your brother is cool or sporty.
Right. So once you've got these 15 words down, you will see that they are going to end up in, this is the format of the touchdown writing method. They would go, body paragraph 1 would be about your mom, body paragraph 2 would be about your dad, body paragraph 3 would be about your sister. Now, I tell my students this type of writing works in social studies, for example. Just to throw a little bit of academia in there, if you want to write a social studies paper on, let's say your social studies teacher were to tell you to write an essay about, in comparing the American Revolution to the Civil War. Body paragraph 1 would be the American Revolution. Body paragraph 2 would be the Civil War. Body paragraph 3 would be compare, contrast. So it doesn't matter what the topic is. You start with this format, and eventually you take your 25 words and you put them into a sentence. So once you have the 3 body paragraph words, so if you have your 15 words, now what you need to do is focus on your introduction and conclusion. So I've color coded it for you. So mom would also be in the detail sentence in the introduction. You would find another word about your mom. So mom's going to have 5 words plus 1 plus 2. So each person will have 7 words about them. Mom, 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 dad, 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 sis, sis, sis. I use these as examples. I actually have 7 sisters. I could be writing a very large paper essay about my family. But I just use mom, dad, and sis as a way of just kind of making it simple. Okay. So you will find that once you have those 25 words written down, they become 25 sentences. As simple as, mom, pretty, my mom is pretty. So for the lower level students, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, you would help them and they could write, my mom is pretty, with guidance. You, on the other hand, might say something like, if you're an older person, if you have more experience with writing, you might say, my mother is the most beautiful woman I have ever met in my entire life. And there would be your grandiose, more painted sentence. So you need to ask yourself, what will be your journey as you create your pages? Will you write about 2020? I know some of my students want to, and other students don't want to. Will you write about your life by the decade? Will you write about the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s? Or will you write about 2020? How about doing this with your 1st grader and helping your 1st grader create his very first book? Or how about doing this project with your bored teenager? I've had lots of parents tell me that their children are bored and they would love to do something like this with them. And think about your grandpa or your grandma. Give grandpa the gift of your time as you help him to create his story. You see, some capsules are in the form of a trunk and others use boxes or actual time capsules. But scrapbooking isn't new. It just needs to come back. So scrapbooks have been around for a very, very long time. They look a lot nicer than these do today. Michael's has a lot to choose from. So here's your blank canvas. Think about what you want to put on that canvas. What do you want to write about? Now, if you want to write about your family, you can follow our format. Set a goal, make a plan, get to work, stick to it, and reach your goal. This format makes essay writing easy. So think about the touchdown method. I have behind me a chart that shows that if you just take this format 10 of them, and fill in 25 words on each one using those 10 topics, you will be 50% away from writing your book. Because then you take those 25 words and you just put them into 25 sentences. But if you start with this and you start with those 25 words, you're going to find yourself to be very, very successful and very proud of yourself. So work smarter, not harder. Set yourself up. Complete the format in advance. So one thing that I do is I set myself up. I take my clipboard. I'm working on the touchdown method. I take my clipboard and I start off with the touchdown method of writing. Can you see it on my screen, or is it only the screen?
It's mostly the presentation right now. I can show
so
you.
I'll show that in a little while.
Yes.
So what I've done is I take each one of my pages. This one will say family. This one will say friendship, and then most memorable moment, and so on. And then I write my 25 words down for each one of my chapters / essay, and I'm ready to go.
Mary Claire, I had stopped. Do you want to share your screen again? I had stopped for one moment so people could see your clipboards. Click that share screen again so we can go back to your presentation.
Which one?
The one right at the bottom where it says share screen, where you clicked before, and then it'll help you. It'll show us your presentation again. There we go.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you. So if you set yourself up with these touchdown, I call them touchdown sheets, you will find yourself getting that much closer to having a finished product. But it's about quality, it's not about quantity. So you want to make sure that you don't rush through it. You want to take your time and do a nice job. So I want you to think about this. Have you ever wished that your father had written down his story? I want you to think about becoming the difference maker. And you write your story. Take the time to carefully present and preserve precious moments. It's priceless. It is something that you can actually achieve in no time at all. So you need to start from the inside out and begin your journey. You are right here. We're all right here. We're in a pandemic. Let's start now. Why wait? It's easy. It's as easy as one word at a time. And I suggest starting with a list of descriptive words. So if you have those descriptive words, if you need that extra help, then you will find yourself with some great tools. If not, you can go onto the, in the Google, and you can just type in that you're looking for different types of words, and they will provide you with all kinds of lists. Here's the list. For example, able, active, adaptable, adventurous, determined, diligent, enthusiastic, forceful, funny, persistent, modest, humorous, practical, romantic, sensible, sincere. So all of these words can really help you. There's more, many, many more words to use, but this is just something to get you started. Angeline, will they have an opportunity to retrieve this information after the class?
We are recording this, so that is one thing that people have been asking. They'll be able to see this presentation all again on the Michaels website under the class and events page, which is very exciting. So
great.
Everyone will have access to this and can reference this back to help them inspire when they go down and go to write their words.
Okay, great. So for example, I had a student, Jana, who decided to share her page with me. Just to give you an example, she took part of her family essay, she cut it up, put three of her paragraphs on one page. She put her actual typed page onto a piece of construction paper. She used some pretty tape, cut out a heart, and she put a picture. This is called scrapbooking. It's as simple as that. This is another student example. Lourdes, she used a variety of complementary colors and textures. She even included a newspaper clipping and some lace. These are the different types of things that you can do with your scrapbook. You can make your essay in any form that you want. You can cut it apart. You can put some in one area and one in another. Be positive. Think about this. You really can do this. This is your second chance. You knew at one time, I'm sure you did, oh, I'd like to write a book. Well, here's your second chance. Now you can do it. Which road will you take? Will you be writing an autobiography about your life? Did you just have a grandchild? Have you decided that you want to create a scrapbook like I'm going to be doing for my new grandson? These are my tables of contents. This would be my first page in my scrapbook.
There could almost be a chapter right now, even too, Mary Claire, about living through COVID and quarantine,
Yeah.
and memories that you've made with your family. People are probably doing different things. So it's really, you can personalize it totally.
Yes, you can do it in any way you want, with any topics, any genres, but following the touchdown method of writing, doing it one word at a time, that's usually people get stuck at the beginning and they don't know how to start. And if you start this way from the inside out, one word at a time, in no time at all, you have your essay or chapter. So take a trip through time, unlock your memories, and preserve them. Make art often. And use Michaels, because they have everything you could possibly need. Okay?
Perfect.
All right. So
Okay,
what I'd like to do now is I'd like to take them on a little journey, showing them a scrapbook that was created by a student of mine. She graduated from high school 2 years ago. I have been using her scrapbook as a model for many years. So thank you, Natalia. I got her permission to be able to use her scrapbook. Are they able to see it? Oh,
yeah, there we go.
Great. So here we have it. So this is an example of a beautiful scrapbook. Michaels has such a great assortment of different types of scrapbooks to get. So this is a very pretty one. You can put pictures in the front. She has some raised lettering here, which is really beautiful. She started off with some pictures.
Wonderful.
And what I liked about her book so much is she was very, she put a lot of stickers and a lot of pop-outs throughout the book. Oops, not a very good view of it here.
Wow.
This is her friendship one. A lot of these stickers that you see in here are three-dimensional, and they pop out 3D. It's very nice.
Wow, this is her chapter all on friends, eh? That's nice.
Yeah. Now, one of the nice things about this year, I think the kids are happy about it, is I've given them the opportunity to handwrite their essays. If they don't have enough ink because of the pandemic, I said, you know what? Let's have them handwrite it if they want, and they can look back years in the future. They can look back at what their handwriting was like when they were in 7th grade. Because I start this off by telling the kids to imagine what it's like when they're 50 years old, sitting on their front porch, listening to their 7th grade student complaining about 7th grade, saying, oh, you have no idea what it's like to be in 7th grade. You can turn around and say, ah, but I do. And you take out your scrapbook and you show them what your life was like when they were in 7th grade, or 6th grade, or 10th grade, or whatever grade. So I'm just going to keep showing you these pages, beautiful pages, all kinds of stickers.
So it's really, people can get so individualized and creative with this, right? Like you can use stickers. You can, I think, like we saw lace on that one example you showed in your
Mm-hmm.
presentation. Um, what's the, I think, what's one of your favorite things to put on? I know we'll talk about it a bit later. We saw some
Well,
cool
you can use
flowers.
pipe cleaners
Oh,
of all different kinds. Okay,
yes.
pipe cleaners.
Oh my gosh.
They come in all different colors. You can use a fan. It'll fit in a scrapbook.
Yes, and
You
add some
could color it,
texture.
paint it. You could put your essay on this fan. You can use stickers like these. These are some leftover from my students from last year. Here's some more stickers.
That's awesome.
You could even take some fake flowers, take one off.
And it just adds that pop to the page. And
Yep, just one little flower in the corner. Put it on here, decorate your fan, put it in there. Let's say you took a trip to Japan with your family. You could create something like this.
oh, that's a great idea.
And you know, I always tell this story. I had a student many, many years ago who was a junior at the time. I haven't always taught 7th grade. And he said, but Miss Duma, I've never been on vacation. And I said, well, that's okay. Dream. Take yourself on a vacation. Where would you want to go? And he had a girlfriend. And he always said that when they got married, he was going to take her to Paris. So he wrote this beautiful fake story about taking his girlfriend to Paris.
I love that.
He picked all the details and everything. It was very well done. So there's many different ways that you can do these scrapbooks. You can write about history. You can write about, it can be fiction or nonfiction. But I like the idea of an autobiography. That's near and dear to my heart. Okay, so this is a perfect example of a masterpiece that I just took apart. Sorry, Natalia, I'll fix it.
Wow.
She used all different kinds of backgrounds and all different kinds of stickers and beautiful pictures. There she is. She's now 20 years old. Doesn't look like that anymore. And so just beautiful pictures. And so this is what an autobiography scrapbook could look like. Now, I'm going to show you what mine looks like.
And the cool thing about this is I think a scrapbook can come together in so many different ways. I think it's just sitting down and getting your materials and writing to start, which is the hardest part, like you said, and then really being able to put together each page on its own, and whether that is a sticker on that page or the flowers or the pipe cleaners or you color or paint. It's so individual. I think it's just taking that time to actually sit down and do it and get started, right?
Exactly. I mean, this is like, for my students, this is kind of their dessert for the whole year. You know, I mean,
Yes.
This is something that they look forward to, and it is exciting. Once you do the legwork and you do all these 25 words for each one of these, and then put them into sentences, you've written a 10-chapter book.
Yes.
That's it. But take a look at my scrapbook that I have just started. I'm going to need that camera again.
I will bring that up.
So this is, this is raw. This is me just starting it, if you will. Okay. So this would be, let's say, my first page, and I put my table of contents here. I started with this page. Maybe I don't want to try that page. Maybe I want to go into my package of paper and choose a different pattern.
So you started, you tore a sheet of paper out of that, and you used that
Actually,
as
my
the.
husband helped me. I wanted him to take part in it, and he picked out some of the pages. So here are some of the pages.
Wow.
So
So you got some scrapbooking paper, you selected the print you wanted, the background you wanted, you cut it out, well, your husband helped you cut it out, and you started inserting it into the scrapbook sheets.
exactly, exactly. And then here we have it. So what I like to do is I like to work smarter, not harder. And I start with putting my touchdown sheet inside the sleeve. So this would be here, my family. And then the next one would be friendship. And then my next would be most memorable moments. And then my next one would be my goals, short-term and long-term goals.
I like that you chose relevant paper on there too that says dream big, and it really ties back to that idea of goals. Yes.
Right. This would be, let's say, vacations. This would be music and entertainment. This one would be how I would change the world. Actually, I think I used something else for that one. This one, how I would change the world. So the paper, you know, kind of matches the theme. And then my last one would be my choice.
What do you normally see people do for my choice? Like, what are some examples of cool ways you've seen people take that before?
You know, it's when they've done something, let's say I've had students that were, let's say, in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, and they were working on a project for Girl Scouts. I remember one student, she wrote a big long thing about you know, Girl Scout camp. It really could be such a myriad of different topics, so many different topics to choose from. I'm sure some of my students, you know, they could tell you what they've done. Some of them are talking about COVID-19. Others are talking about gaming. You know, they like video gaming.
Yeah.
They already have one for hobbies and pets. So some of them choose to write about hobbies, some choose to write about pets.
Cool.
Some just make up different topics. Some do it on YouTubers, their favorite
I love
YouTubers,
that.
you know.
Some people in the chat are even saying that they've been saving like newspaper clippings or recipes from like magazines and that type of thing, right? So maybe if you're super into food, your chapter could be food, and you could have cut out a recipe from a magazine, and that's one of the pages.
Exactly. And if everybody just gets into the mindset of thinking, okay, in order to do do justice to my chapter, I need at least 3. I live by the rules of 3. You know, you need to have at least 3 subtopics, body paragraphs, nothing less than 5. And, you know, and I think, you know, I pretty much say that in life, you know, if you're going to write something, do an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion, nothing less. You can do more, but nothing less. So
yes.
There are different things that I have. So like if I were to do, you know, put pictures in here about my family, maybe I would put my mother-in-law and father-in-law in there, or my wedding picture could go into there. Or of course I have to showcase my sons, but it's a very old picture. I could, they'll kill me, but I could put a picture of them there, you know. Or if I were to do a project, write it all about my 7 sisters, Nancy, Debbie, Patty, Bobby, Becky, Shelley, Dana, me, I would put this picture in there. Of course, I only reference one sister. It would take me forever to do a paragraph for each one, but they're worth it, and I will do it one day. So if any of my sisters are on right now, do know that you will be in my book one day.
I wonder if
I'd love to field some questions if anybody has anything that they would like to ask.
Yeah, let's do it. If anyone has any questions in the chat, they want to share, by all means, please do. I think one of the key takeaways here is that it's really just about getting started. It's very individual. You need the materials we listed earlier, so scrapbooking paper and some stickers and markers and crayons and that type of thing that will get you started, but it's going to be very individual. You can use, like you said, the newspaper clippings or recipes or pipe cleaners or flowers. Really, it's so individual, but the hardest part is to get started with that writing, and I think you've given us some awesome tips today.
And there's all kinds of stickers that you can get and pop outs and things like that. And the other thing too is I know some people, like when they get flowers from their husband, they like to press flowers. I've seen people put those in there. That looks really nice too. The other thing that I wanted to include, but I didn't, was the list of terminology that scrapbookers use. I consider myself to be more of a teacher and a creator of writing and reading than I do calling myself a scrapbooker. But I have become familiarized with many of the scrapbooking terms. And I think once you take a look at what some of those scrapbooking terms are, you'll find out that your possibilities for your scrapbook are endless. There's so many different techniques and styles and things that you can do, and cutouts and scissors to make your paper look nice. I mean, I like to think of myself as being somewhat resourceful, and I take scrap pieces of paper, if I can find my scissors anywhere, and just showing you how you can take just a piece of scrap paper, something left over like this, and you can take it and just cut off a corner like that. And you can put this corner on the side of a page.
Yes.
And just little things like this, you could use every little piece of this to create little structures. I mean, if you don't have, you take and make with what you do have. Now, one of the things I wanted to just point out to everybody is, I know not everybody has a scrapbook, and that's okay. You don't have to have a scrapbook to make an autobiography. And maybe because of the pandemic, you can't get to the store to get a scrapbook. But what you can do is you can start one and get your scrapbook later. You can just take 2 pieces of construction paper, staple it together, or put holes and put yarn through it if you'd like. Or you could weave it with some kind of yarn, and then you can put your chapters inside of here and pictures.
That's amazing. Or, and for anyone right now, Michael's is doing, you can go to get curbside pickup or same day delivery directly to your house, or order online. So there is that option too. But I think that to your point, you can really start and get creative with what you have at home and always pick up more items later.
Yeah. I mean, you could take oak tag paper like this, you can fold it in half and then cut it in half again. And then you have something a little bit more sturdy to make your scrapbook out of, if you have no scrapbook. So there's many different ways that you can get around this. Be creative. I mean, today with images on Google, always you want to, make sure that you're not trying to publish something and put your name on it and have somebody else's picture. But if you're going to create something just for yourself, for your home, you see pictures on, Google Images, you can always print those. I tell my students that they can do that as well. It's always better when you have, an actual photograph to use. I mean, that works a lot better. But if you can't get to the store, you take your phone and you could always upload, you can go to CVS or Walgreens or Rite Aid, and you can have pictures mailed to your home. So,
wow.
Yeah, there's lots of different ways that you can get around that, especially during this time, this pandemic. Other
Amazing.
questions?
I
see
think
some
people
of my
are just
students.
people were wondering where they can find this information after. So as I said before, but I'll say it again, this session is going to be recorded. It'll be available in 24 to 48 hours from now at michaels.com/classes so that you can always reference back. And I think a lot of people are just sharing their stories too of what they might do, or examples of what they're thinking how they'll start without their scrapbook. So that's awesome.
Well, I would also like to offer to give my email out if anybody has any questions afterwards, if that's okay.
For sure, we can put that right into the body of the chat, Mary Claire, and
Thank you. All right.
People can certainly follow up with you.
So it would be mlandisi333@gmail.com. M as in Mary, LANDISI
@gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
333 @gmail.com.
mlandisi333. Yes, that's my personal one as opposed to my school one.
So one question that did come through is some people are wondering, I think we talked about when you're starting your words at the beginning and getting inspired, they said that how are you getting from the 25 words to the 15? So is it 25 or 15 that we're starting with?
Okay, so can I share the screen again?
Yeah, just click your screen at the bottom and we can get back to there and show them.
So that's a good question. So what you're doing here is this right here are the 15 words that I asked you to do in class. And if you did those 15 words, you're almost done your first essay or chapter. Once you've got your 15 words done, you then need to work on your introduction and your conclusion. So you have your 15 words here. Then you focus on your introduction. So you have 5 words for mom, 5 words for dad, 5 words for sis. Now, I'm using this as an example, but keep in mind, if this has to do with a vacation and you went to Argentina, could be mom, you could put Japan for dad, and you could put Aruba for sis. And you would still put 5 words, 5 words, 5 words for each one of those topics. It doesn't matter what the topic is. To do the introduction and the conclusion, you want to make sure that you're referencing that first body paragraph in the first detail of your introduction and conclusion. You want to make sure the second body paragraph is being referenced in the introduction in the second detail, as well as for the conclusion, the second detail would be the dad, and sis would be the third, and the third in the conclusion. That make sense?
Makes sense to me, I think. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that.
Whatever your topic is that you're writing about, whatever you want to create, if you follow this format and just for each chapter, write down 25 words, just 25 words for each chapter, you will find it's so easy to be able to just take those words and turn them in to a paragraph. 5 paragraphs. Here's 1 paragraph, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Wonderful.
And you know, when I tell my students at the beginning of the year that they will be doing this project, there are many students that, you know, they see the scrapbook and they say, oh, that sounds great. That sounds wonderful. I can't wait to do it. And then I tell them that they have to write 10 chapters. They go, huh? I had to write 10 chapters? What do you mean? That sounds like a very tall order. And then once they do the first chapter, they're like, oh, that's so bad. And then they do the second chapter and they're like, oh, okay. And by the third and fourth, they're like, I got this. And they've used this strategy, this writing strategy to help them in their social studies class, in their science class, in their music class, and other classes where they have to do writing. and they feel like they have accomplished something because they followed the touchdown method of writing. 25 words become 25 sentences. It really does work. And what the beauty of this is, you know, for the students in 7th grade, by the time they get to the high school, they're writers. They really know how to write afterwards. Now, you might think it's very simplistic, but that's what we need. We need something to jumpstart us. And that's where these just one word. So now some kids will say, you know, good, like for their mother, they'll say, can I write good cook? You know, when they talk about their mother, and I'm like, you can write more than one word. What you start off with just the words. You don't start off with the sentences.
Yes.
You can use a phrase, 2 words or 3 words, but make it simple for yourself. Use the touchdown method of writing as a format to just to help you get started.
Yeah, people ask to see that again, the touchdown method. So I think if we can keep that on the screen for a second, that could be helpful. And someone asked, Mary Claire, what school you teach at. Do you want to give a bit of background there?
I sure will. Well, I've been teaching for 26 years, but for the past 14 years, I've been at Freeport School District in Long Island.
Cool.
And I teach 7th grade research skills. So my students learn how to write college level research papers following the touchdown method of writing, but instead of 5 paragraphs, 5 sentences, their research papers, because they're in 7th grade, if they were in college, they'd be writing maybe 17-page research paper. In high school, it might be 7 pages for a research paper. And then in 7th grade, it's 7 paragraphs for their research paper. So it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So so it just goes from 5 paragraphs, 5 sentences for a research paper to 7 paragraphs, 7 sentences. Okay? I mean, if anybody has a cell phone and they want to take a picture of this page, that might help them.
Yeah,
right?
keep it for
I see some people.
Take the photo now.
Yeah.
As I said before, this will be posted michaels.com/classes within the next 24 hours. So everyone can always reference this recording back, and they can check it out, which is very exciting. But otherwise, we will really just look for some closing remarks now and get this wrapped up. So, I mean, I'll say thank you to you, Mary Claire. I think this is extremely helpful. Is there any closing remarks you want to share with everyone before we sign off for the day?
No, I just, if anybody wants to reach out, I'd be more than happy if we have any teachers on board that would like me to do this for their schools. I'd be more than happy to do a pop-in and help your classes, you know, learn how to write an autobiography. We could make it fun. If anybody has any grandchildren or children or what have you that needs help with writing, I'm an email away. Summertime is coming, so that gives me an opportunity to help out some people around the country. I'd love to do that. My goal here is just to get as many people writing as possible. And if you can do that and create this, you know, a beautiful scrapbook at the same time, well, then you'll have something to treasure and keep for a lifetime. And you'll be very glad you did it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Mary Claire. Thank you everyone for joining. It's National Creativity Day. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.